DisAfterDark is a member of the
But I might have to leave that bit of the
Podcast
pre-show in.
MicePod.com.
Now, the podcast that's nearly the same as all the others.
Warning, this show contains childish adult content and is intended for immature, mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. The views spoken are ours and ours alone, not those of any other bugger. If you're easily offended, we strongly suggest finding another podcast. Everybody neat and pretty, then on with the show.
A very quiet and refined few minutes. Thank you. Welcome back to yet another episode of Diz After Dark. We haven't gone anywhere just yet. Hello, I'm Paul.
I'm Nick.
I'm Paul D.
And I'm Craig.
I
just thought I'd sing the intro.
Yeah?
Yeah, I haven't sung for a while, so...
What do you mean? When was the last time you sung?
In Eurovision, 1984.
That was you with the
Good
beard.
callback.
That was me with the beard and the skirt.
There's a woman in Greece.
We've got some guests.
And we have a guest.
We do, yes.
Hello.
Hello, Shaun.
Hello. How are you doing?
With an H-A-U-N.
S-H-A-U-N.
Yes, not a... How are you?
That's the right
I'm
way
very
to spell
good,
it.
thank you. How's yourselves?
Wait, not too bad, considering we're settled down for the evening. I believe we're settled down with a beer. Are we, gentlemen?
With a liquid.
Oh, what a segue!
I know. I'm taking from leading. I'm taking your example. You are
Good.
Segway master.
I am. I only wish I actually had a segue. I have continued my run by not having a Disney theme.
Okay.
But I finally found... I thought I'd had the beer that Stone Cold Steve Austin, former wrestler, recommended. And it turns out I didn't have quite the right one. So today, I don't have a Sierra Nevada extra IPA. I have a Sierra Nevada Torpedo extra IPA, and that is the one that he recommends. So, hang on a second. There's a pop, and...
Does it meet
very
your
nice.
requirements? Excellent.
Yeah.
Mr. D.
Oh, this one.
I haven't got the bottle opener handy tonight. I've got a can of Strongbow dark fruit cider.
It's a bit of a cider run going on at the moment.
Yeah. Dark fruit, I don't know what that is. That's like all the rotted stuff, I think, they make it from.
It's the fruit that we get given.
Yeah. I'm sure I've made comments I've had to edit out about dark fruits at some point.
Leave it. Leave it, don't go there.
Yeah. Craig.
I'm going to be a bit of a wet Nelly. I'm doing Slimming World, and I've lost nearly a stone and... Oh, I'm not wearing my wife's knickers. I'm just doing Swimming World.
Congratulations.
Not Swimming World, no, Slimming World. I've lost a stone and a half, so I'm drinking Yorkshire tea.
And slurping like a professional tea
From
drinker.
the saucer.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, before I launch into the Mickey taking,
Don't I get a drink?
yeah, you do. But I just want to congratulate Craig.
Thank you.
Well done for losing whatever it is you're losing.
I can see my little fella now.
Excellent.
I don't have to squat over the mirror anymore.
Yeah.
I can just look over my gut.
No, congratulations
The
on
last
that.
time-
Now I'm going to take the piss.
The last time I saw Craig, I'm hoping I inspired you, because the last time I saw Craig, he offered to buy me a drink, an alcoholic beverage. And I said, no, I'll have a bottle of water. And so he joined me in a bottle of water because it was when I was doing my juice diet.
Yeah, I remember
So,
that.
yeah.
You were wearing your woman's knickers at the same time as well. Yeah.
On my head.
Yeah, on his face, like Spider-Man.
Sean,
Hello,
what
sir.
would you care to drink, sir?
Do you know what? I've had a really dodgy tummy all day. Alka-Seltzer for me.
Oh, with vodka
Something-
or gin?
Oh, no, God, no, don't. If I have to suddenly leave, you'll know why. It's dodgy chili. That's what's done it for me. We were at an old lady's birthday party last night,
my wife's aunties, and I had some dodgy chili, and it's been affecting me.
Oh no!
Like the Japanese flag.
Does it say dodgy chili on it?
The Disney link, of course, is that I've had far too many chili dogs at the All-Star Food Court, and same effect.
Well, I've also got cider, but for some, it's called Alska from the Swedish cider company, a Nordic berries fruit cider, which I guess it's an Epcot thing going around one direction. But what I don't understand is that the label of it, it's got Nordic berries, but it's got strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries and blackcurrants on it.
They have those in Norway.
They do, but I wouldn't have called them particularly Nordic.
Depends where they come from.
Yeah. I don't. Carry on.
I've just noticed that this extra IPA is 7.2%. Horribly wrong.
The award for horribly going wrong.
Nick's soap dish, Matt. Part 2.
Gentlemen, well, should anyone actually want to force us into getting back to getting Disney themes to it, or whether they just don't care and just want to hear us get slowly drunker through the course of an hour or so.
Of course,
How can they do that?
They can contact us via our website, which is www.disafterdark.com, or they can email us at podcast@disafterdark.com.
And we are, of course, socially active on Twitter, @DisAfterDark, Facebook.com/DisAfterDark, and you can also find us on MiceChat.com.
And socially impaired on YouTube and wherever else. Who knows? Yeah.
And antisocial a few places as well.
We might branch out onto that live video one. What's it called?
Periscope.
Periscope, that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
We might go on that soon.
Yeah, let me know what you do, because I might do some during the show records in future.
Yeah, good that.
Also, if you want to hit our Facebook page at the moment, there's a very good picture Craig's put on from inside his car. And I'm putting it out purely because, obviously, I have the Vinylmations that you have there, but I have Buddy Christ as well.
Oh, good lad.
Yeah, I've got Buddy Christ that size. So,
who would win in a fight, Darth Vader or Buddy Christ?
One fictional god to one fictional god, who knows?
Spider-Man might swing in and just knock him out.
It sounds like I might have more to apologise for than I thought, actually. Now I've just made a sweeping reference about religion.
Like John Lennon.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
enough.
bigger than Jesus.
Well, no, you're bigger than my cleaner, Jesus. He's tiny.
Jesus. Can I know before, obviously, I want to get very much into why we have our guests on the show tonight, but before we did that, I wondered if I could just take a few minutes out of the show to kind of pull out my soapbox. I feel that I need to apologise for some of my recent actions. So I hope you don't mind, gentlemen. I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent for the next couple of minutes.
Is this an anti-rant, or do you want the soap dish jingle played?
If you've got it to hand, why not?
Have you got sad Hulk music?
You should always have sad Hulk music.
It's Soap Dishes
Far away, mate.
So, we've had an interesting few shows recently, and I don't know how people feel sometimes, but sometimes I feel that we can kind of get a bit carried away with things, and we try and keep this as light-hearted as possible, but just every now and again we might do something that oversteps that mark, and you kind of regret afterwards. Sometimes because you're drinking 7.2% alcohol, other times you're just a bit of an arse. But I think that when you make a mistake in this world, you should own up to it, own it, live it, move on, which is what I wanted to do now. So going back recently, said some stuff on the show which I listened back to afterwards, and felt a bit bad about it. A few people said a few things about it and kind of drew it to my attention that maybe I might have gone a bit too far. And going back to what I've just said, I feel it's the right thing to do. If you've upset someone, if you said something out of turn, just man up own it, refer to it, move on. So for that reason, I wanted to take the time on the show tonight to apologise to somebody. So I wanted to apologise to Stephen Lisberger. And actually, I suppose as well, I should really apologise to Joseph Kaczynski as well, because how could I possibly turn around and say that I would watch Dick Tracy over Tron or Tron Legacy? What a stupid thing to say. I mean, of all the things that I could have said about things recently, Disney related, that has got to be the dumbest thing I've said. I feel I've let myself down as a supposed fan of Tron and the whole Tron franchise, and I feel I let those guys down as well for making two very good Disney live-action films. So, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I regret my actions. I'm not proud of what I've done and what I've said and how that may have come across, and I don't want the show to be reflected badly on that. Very much looking forward to Tron 3 when it gets made. And, I'm sorry, and I've made a mistake. I still love Dick Tracy, and I still say it's a good film, but I was wrong. I was wrong, and I shouldn't have said it, and I'm sorry for everyone I let down. But I've owned it now, and I just want to move on. So thank you for giving me the time, and let's get back on with the show.
Could you repeat that, please?
We were not recording. Oh, God.
Take two.
No, it takes a man to admit he accidentally said Dick Tracy was better than Tron.
Oh, I didn't even accidentally say it. I said, it wasn't even a slip of the tongue. I said it. It's just when I said it, I regretted it. I was like, I've had to live with it. It's been horrible.
I know. Well, we'll move on from that now anyway.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sean.
Hello.
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 How do we go to how do you start an interview? So, Sean, why are you here?
I'm here to say that I love Dick Tracy, and I'm not a big fan of Tron.
Ooh.
Fine, but I mean, they're both good films. That's the thing. Like, both of them are good films, and I like anything, I can respect people for not having the same opinion as me. Opinions are like arseholes. We've all got one. And if you haven't, it's very unfortunate. So there's nothing wrong with what you said there. I think Dick Tracy still holds up very well. Very well.
Good.
Thank you.
Good.
I want to make you feel at ease. I don't want to feel bad for saying.
Now that we've completely validated our guest.
Otherwise, it was going to be a long next 45 minutes.
Craig.
Yeah.
You found Sean.
I found Sean.
I was going to use some words that could easily be smuttily.
On Twitter, we connected through the DisAfterDark Twitter account a while ago, a couple of months ago, and I went and did some digging, and I seen he'd written some Disney books, or books, depends where you come from.
Yeah, I was going to just translate it, but you've done it, so that's great.
Yeah, and what with the new film coming out about Tomorrowland, I thought it was particularly apt to bring Sean on to talk about his two latest novels that are out at the moment. So over to you, Sean.
Yeah, thanks for that start. I've always had a passion for the unbuilt side of Disney, the things that they planned and never got round to building. And the original Epcot being the biggest one of them all, I guess. A few years ago, I wrote a non-fiction book called The Disneylands That Never Were, and that was a study of all the plans from right back to Walt's ideas for Mickey Mouse Park, right up to current day, as it was then. And I'd always had this idea of what would it have been like to live in the real Epcot that Walt had wanted. What if he'd actually managed to get it done? That's what all writers do. They play what if. And so I set my story there. I got the idea of Walt having finally built his Epcot, and a young family, a guy who's a big Disney fan and his wife and their teenage son, they get to move into it. They get to work there. The guy's a scientist. He gets to work in the Epcot. And he turns out it's perhaps not all that he expected it to be. There's a darker side. And that's my novel, The Happiest Workplace on Earth.
So just for because I mean, I think we're all aware here what that alludes to, but there may be certain listeners to the show that don't actually realise what Epcot was intended to be. Would you mind just kind of going into a bit more detail about that?
Sure. Walt's idea was that it was a working city, that it was way bigger than what we see now as a small theme park. It was to bring together all the brightest and best scientists, technicians, thinkers of the world, bring them all together, and just push every envelope that they could. In doing so, bettering humankind as a whole. It was his ultimate flight of fancy, I guess. And had he not died when he did, who knows how far he'd have managed to get with it. It was his all-consuming passion for the final couple of years of his life. So it was going to be medical sciences, all technologies, just build them as much as possible. And he had the funding personally, and he had the corporate contacts to maybe make some of this happen. And that was his idea for Epcot. And the people that worked there would have had social housing, so that the housing itself would have been an experiment. They would have tested out all the inventions that were made. They would have got the best medical treatment, cutting edge. It was a perfect dream for him.
Yeah, he did get interested in his later years in planning cities and the ultimate modern city. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I've got. I mean, if you go on the spaceship Earth, if you go on the People Mover ride in Tomorrowland, you can see a model of, or at least part of a model that they built to show how Epcot might have been. And that's there. We've all ridden past it and maybe not appreciated what it was.
So how long?
It was.
No, carry on, mate.
No, I was just going to say, I'm right in thinking, and this is going to be very short, that it was experimental prototype City of Tomorrow.
That's correct.
Community of Tomorrow, wasn't it?
It was started out as City, became Community.
Yeah. There you go.
The theme park.
Yeah.
The theme park was a kind of a way to get the city built, wasn't it? You know, the Magic Kingdom.
The Magic Kingdom was, yeah. That was part of the way of getting the funding, getting people to come. And then after he died, the board that were left said, how the hell are we going to do this? They had no idea how to go through with his wild theories of how to build this Epcot. And so it got watered down and changed a wee bit. And it became, well, sort of a scientific theme park. The idea being on maybe a bit of education as well while people are having fun. Nobody really knew what to do. And that's what we got the Epcot, which is wonderful. But, oh, God, what if?
Can you just imagine?
Well, yeah, I can. That's why I wrote a book.
Exactly. I mean, I'm hooked already in the first chapter. In the first chapter, they're just coming to terms. They've just found out the news that they're moving into Epcot, so they haven't got there yet.
Okay.
And I can't wait to that journey into Epcot, because they live in Celebration.
Yeah, my idea. I mean, Celebration being the small town just outside of Walt Disney World that Disney owned for many years, and my idea was that they used that as a sort of holding area, a staging post, if you will. People moved into Celebration, into the town of Celebration, and from there you get tested, you get vetted, and if you're deemed bright enough and socially acceptable enough, then perhaps we'll let you into our Epcot town.
Wow.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. So how long did it take you to write?
Realistically, about 18 months. Although I had the idea from one of the first times that I'd ever been over there. I mean, I've been to Florida a fair few times, and one of the first times I learnt about this fantastic idea of Epcot, and the machines in my head started whirring, and I thought, oh yeah, what if you could live there? And so I eventually sat down and wrote it. It took about 18 months. And now, of course, we find out that there's a lovely new film.
Is there?
which shows Tomorrowland as Walt thought of it, which looks staggeringly like Epcot.
May have to investigate that, but
yeah.
It's. I think have they managed to get around some sort of copyright infringement by not calling it Epcot, but basing it on a land within the Magic Kingdom instead?
I suspect that may be it. Yeah.
Your legal team would have come down heavy on them.
That's right. Yes, that's where I'm going for it. Yeah. Yeah.
So, is this one in a series?
It is indeed. There's a series of Disney Imagineering Unleashed. The second novel has just come out. It's called The Storm Over the Bay, and that's based in my own favourite never-built Disneyland, Discovery Bay, which
I've purchased the book.
Have you?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
My
Don't
pleasure.
So you've read book one. Yeah, it follows on directly from book one. There is a series. Just started writing book 3, in which we're going to Westcott, the Californian version of Epcot that again never got built. I have plans for plenty of them. I guess it all depends on sales whether I can get round to making them eventually. But
if you can let me know when you do the one about the Rocketeer attraction that never got built.
Oh.
I'm guessing you're quite, there's much more exciting things to write books about before then.
I think Mineral King Ski Resort is going in, and the Lava Lagoon at Disney Paris, that probably comes in slightly ahead.
Yeah, of the Rocketeer ride.
I want to rewind a show now because I completely forgot about the Rocketeer and I shouldn't have done.
No, you shouldn't. It's fantastic.
It is.
Do you want to apologise for that? I've actually... for those interested, I'm not going to say where I bought mine from because there are other places that you can buy this from. But there is a legacy figure coming out, which is around about the £15, $20 mark, and it looks like a very good, very well detailed figure of the Rocketeer from the film. It's about 6 inches tall, and it comes with a removable helmet and gun and backpack.
Okay, cool.
So keep your eyes out for that. Yeah, very good film.
Anyway, because we do sidetracks around here.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Every now and again.
So your Epcot in the book, is it factually correct to
absolutely, yeah.
The information that Walt put out there?
Yeah. I went back to, there are plenty of Walt's hand-drawn maps of where he was scribbling little bits, and I researched as much as I could, saw as much of that kind of thing. I really wanted to make the Epcot in my book as close to Walt's vision as possible, and that's what I'm doing with all the books in the series. They're primarily well researched. I don't want to make them up as I go along. They're as close to the original plans as I could get them. And doing a lot of research for my previous non-fiction book about these parks, I met with quite a few Imagineers and spoke to various people, saw plans that are never supposed to leave the building, kind of thing.
Wow! How did you get access to those?
Just got people who passed phone numbers. Met an Imagineer in a bar in Canada who just happened to have some paintings under the table. It was ridiculous stuff looking back now. But yeah, so I have tried to keep it as close to the original plans as possible, whilst putting a sort of Dan Brown adventure story around it, to make it more interesting.
Yeah.
And what was I going to say? Would you have to have spoke to Disney about this? Would you have to have approached them for any sort of permission, or do you just
talking legal copyright stuff here?
Yeah, that type of stuff.
We did speak. There were certain things they were adamant that no pictures. You can't mention one or two little bits. But yeah.
So you couldn't mention Walt's frozen head?
Couldn't possibly say anything about that whatsoever.
Carry on.
No, I'm not going down here. Read the book.
Oh, that's pricked me.
Nice lead. Nice lead.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, Shaun, is writing your day job?
It has been. I have for many years been a sort of semi-pro writer. I've written a lot of magazines and a few books. But sadly, currently, I'm back in the real world. I've just recently, a couple of months ago, had to take a proper job because the writing doesn't pay. Well, it doesn't pay enough to get me back to Florida. It's enough for the bills, but that's about all. So if we want anything beyond that, I've had to take another job as well.
Yeah.
Excellent. So what are the tools of a writer? Are you a notepad man, or are you a good old-fashioned typewriter, or is everything done?
Or dictaphone? Yeah.
Everything.
No, use your hand like
use
everyone
your
else.
finger. I have done, yeah. If I'm going out, I don't know, walking in the countryside or whatever, I will take at least my phone with the dictation stuff on it, yeah, just in case. Always have notepads with me. But on the other hand, if it's when I have been lucky enough to use it as my day job, then it has been standard 9 to 5, get up and write, and do it as a job.
Wow.
Well, if we'll give you copyright now that if you want to use the name The Mouse's Head Pub in any future books, you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It may well pop up. I love the idea. Thank you.
Also, if you want to use the name Nick, I'm giving you copyright to that. I'm allowed to do that. Surely it's my name, right?
Nick is a drunk old regular in The Mouse's Head who rambles about vinyl nation. Anyone who listens.
Thanks.
It's set in the future, Nick.
It's set in the future, Nick.
It is.
Oh, okay.
Only just.
Okay, so my frozen head just pops up the bar there.
No, you'd
I'd
just be
love
an app on an
frozen
iPad.
So, I mean, obviously, you've chosen like a massive subject,
Yeah.
or two massive subjects in the first two books.
Well,
and I jokingly,
because it gives me scope for expansion later on.
yes, but
Yeah, Nick, stupid.
I mean, at the end of it, I'm not giving any trade secrets away by saying that Disney World and all the other Disney parks still around the world, they still exist at the end of book one.
can I just point out, as I've already proved myself tonight, no one needs to tell me I'm stupid. I know that quite well. But no, what I wanted to ask was, I mean, obviously, I alluded jokingly to the not made Rocketeer ride.
Yes.
I chose that one over the Dick Tracy ride for no reason whatsoever. But I've also had an interest. I would say more in attractions than stories like Epcot, which is really dumb on my part because that's much more interesting than a crappy ride not being built. But through all your kind of research and things you've looked at to do with this, and obviously your future planning, has there been something that's really kind of stood out to you that may not be as important as an Epcot, but nonetheless was something that to you thought, actually, that little thing really interests me?
Yeah. This is going to be sad. This is
You're in the right place. It's four blokes now talking about Disney. You're in the right
and a
place.
Rocketeer dolly.
Yeah.
It's not the Tangled toilet, is it?
This is at Paris, and there were plans for the Lava Lagoon swimming pool, which was just a big old glass dome, and the idea was that the water were heated by hot underground springs and every sort. You know, like at Typhoon Lagoon, there's the hot geyser explodes every so often. Yeah, the idea was that there was going to be a lava flow every so often in Lava Lagoon, and piles of orange water come running down the hillside. And I would love to have seen that. You know, it was just an indoor pool that was heated with a great Disney backstory behind it.
A hot geyser exploding. That is pretty much an
like
description for Soapbox, surely.
Yeah.
If you see my pictures, as he blows his trumpet, stuck up his arse. I apologise.
You should be in the circus if you can blow your trumpet.
Right, so, all right, the protagonists and antagonists within your story. So I know the terminology correctly and everything. I know.
Get this.
I'm still only halfway.
Who's got Google?
I'm still only halfway down the first bottle, so we're all right. If they're going to make a film out of your Epcot journey, who have you got in mind for playing them?
Oh God, it's got to be Keith Sutherland, because my main man's called Jack, so we're going to have him. Bad guys, no, I'm not going there.
Liam Neeson.
Because there are a few people who may be good, maybe bad, not so sure. So they turn halfway, perhaps, and then turn back, maybe.
So they'll be playing. So if Hollywood buys this, then they'll be playing.
Ray Winston, Crystal Skull, yeah.
I don't know, though, kind of obviously bad, really. I think if they're going to, it's obviously bad. He's an actor played by a British guy.
Oh, don't be like that, Josie. I think that's how he sounded.
Yeah, that'll do.
And now the latest bets.
So when you heard news that this Tomorrowland movie's coming out,
do you know the
what's going through your head?
I wasn't best happy. I did because the first book was out at that point.
Yeah.
I'm just finishing the second book when I knew there was a film called Tomorrowland, but I didn't know what it was going to be about. And when I actually heard more and more, tad miffed. Yeah.
Isn't that a good thing, though? Doesn't it get people aware of the whole kind of topic?
Possibly.
But
we shall see when it comes out, and my sales figures rocket.
Mm-hmm.
Surely writing something like that, you would think deep down, potentially, maybe in your wildest dreams, Mr. Disney comes knocking on the door. We'd like to turn this into a film or something.
I think you do realise it's just a frozen head, yeah?
Just a head.
It was
a head on a
skateboard. It was more
skateboard.
likely that they come knocking on the door telling me that I'd overstepped some copyright mark.
Well, maybe, yeah.
But in my wildest dreams.
Yeah, in a wild dream, somewhere in the, and then you see this film's getting made, and you're like, because they're not going to do another one now, are they? Another variant of it.
Aren't they? Since when has that ever stopped Hollywood?
Yeah.
All Disney, to be
Tomorrowland
fair.
2, Discovery Day.
Yeah.
It'll be a DreamWorks production.
I mean, the only thing I would say, and I mean, I think the thing is, what's been quite clever about Tomorrowland is the fact that we're discussing this film with about a week, 2 weeks before its general release, and
by the time this podcast comes out, it'll be on Blu-ray.
That is very true.
And the fourth boot will be out.
But
I might just deliberately really confuse everyone now by actually releasing them in a different order, so Nick apologises for something he hasn't said yet.
Oh, that's going to ruin the joke ever so slightly.
That's like the 18th.
I mean, we're still talking about this now. Now, I remember talking about Tomorrowland with Jim Hill, 2 years ago, maybe, and having about as much of an idea then as I do now, and the film is just about to come out. They've been very good at keeping it very secretive. At the same time, I don't think it's necessarily done it many favours outside of the Disney community. I think Disney fans are looking forward to it, but I don't think the idea or the concept sold itself very well. I mean, the impression I get is it is really more focused on Tomorrowland rather than Epcot, but possibly that there's elements of what Epcot should have been are being incorporated into what we know Tomorrowland to be.
Yeah, did you see the Japanese trailer that snuck online for about 10 minutes before it was pulled?
No.
Oh, okay. Anyhow.
That's where you're supposed to go, oh, well, this is revealed.
Yeah. Walt was in it.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah.
I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I've got to go and see this film now.
Yeah. So
we should all go and see it and then have
implies that come the end, they're going to say, oh, and guess where we are? We're in Walt's Epcot.
Waltz frozen head, waltz
Yeah.
frozen head, waltz frozen head, waltz frozen head.
It's almost like we've planned all these recent podcasts as if it's all part of a secret society. We've just had the Waltz Frozen Head movie man on, and now we've got an Epcot book man.
Yeah.
It's all coming together.
I tell you what, don't tell David Icke.
We're also responsible
listen
for
afterwards.
flying jets into the World Trade Center, and for seeding the clouds.
But can I just point out, we're not actually responsible for either of those things. That was said in jest.
Yeah.
Other conspiracy theories are available. I said it.
Thank you, Craig.
There's a Black Hawk helicopter hovering above my house right now.
Yeah, sorry, I'll call them off.
Yeah.
Trying to kill Diana. Yeah. I think that's all the conspiracies.
That's just what kind of. But now we've actually said that in jest and then denied them. The average conspiracy theorist is going to go, well, they're denying it.
Of course you are.
Obviously did it.
Where were you on September 11, 2001?
I was in
That's a show for another podcast. a very, very sad podcast, I imagine, but one nonetheless. So Shaun, obviously, book 2's just come out.
Yep.
When is book 3 scheduled?
It depends on which time I can get off my current job to finish it. It's plotted, and I am writing it, so I'm guessing sort of end of this year. Maybe.
Oh, okay, as quickly as that.
Yeah, maybe. End of this year, maybe start of next. Yeah.
And what platforms is it available on?
Actual paperbacks, remember those old-fashioned things?
No.
Yeah,
What?
I know. Paper
yeah,
books.
The
They're
ones that
sort of like
IKEA.
Kindles, only they cut your fingers more.
Yeah,
I don't believe you.
The ones that IKEA called book books.
That's it. Yeah. Tree books, apparently, is the term now.
I prefer branch books.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Go to Amazon.
Amazon,
Find them on
yeah.
Amazon. You can download to your Kindle or whatever your drug of choice might be in the electronic reader form. Or go to my publisher's site at themeparkpress.com. You'll find...
So you're a paperback writer?
I am indeed.
Like the
How good
Beatles
does that
predicted?
sound? Yes, I know.
Oh, this
wow.
is just deep, this is heavy, man.
Yeah, I mean, we've mentioned the Beatles in front of a Scouser, so...
I live around the corner
Just
from Pete
erupted.
Best's house.
Shall I come back in half an hour or so?
Craig will be back in half an hour, we'll all be here.
What was that website again?
Themeparkpress.com.
No, I had a quick look at that before I come on the show, and it is literally full with Disney books and theme park books.
They claim to be. They claim they are my publishers. They are the world's largest independent Disney publishers. They say.
So hang on, a company called Theme Park Publishing.
Theme Park Press.
Sorry, Theme Park Press. Sorry, I do apologise.
Oh,
Theme
hell
Park
yeah.
Press just seems to publish books about theme parks.
Who would have thought it? Yeah.
Oh, I'm gobsmacked. I really am. Well, I'm going to have to shop my autobiography elsewhere then.
Unless, of course, you're going to base it around a theme park.
Hey.
Good point, well made.
You're not on Apple, are you? You're not on iBooks, though?
No.
What do you have to do to get into Apple?
You have to jump through hoops and pay them a lot of money.
Do you have to pay, do you? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they take a prohibitively large amount.
Oh, right.
Yeah, like anything else.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs frozen head. Steve Jobs frozen head.
They've obviously got to make up for the profits they've lost.
That's right.
On the iWatch.
Off the watch, yeah.
Yeah. Because
The
they're
eye of
obviously
Steve Jobs
selling
is
that
now turned.
they're obviously selling that at a loss.
It is a loss maker, yeah. I did try one on the other day in the shop. It was only the £850 model.
Yeah, you cheapskate.
Oh, the cheap one.
I've just sellotaped my iPad to me wrist now.
I've just actually come back from my sister-in-law's who has one. She works for Apple. She has one, and she was saying that actually they've already had one member of staff take theirs back because there's nothing they can do on it other than read text messages.
And tell the
It's a bit of
time.
a bust. No, it doesn't tell the time. It's the one thing it doesn't do.
That's
What
extra.
do you want to watch to do?
Yeah.
You've got to pay for the app.
Well, there's an app with a Bluetooth link to your phone, and it's the phone that's telling the time. But the moment you run out of battery, that's it.
No, I mean, to be honest, look, it's like everything. You know, when the iPad first came out, who hand on heart, saw the iPad and thought, I need one of those in my life on a daily basis?
Yeah, we've got 5 of them in our house now.
Good God.
Yeah, exactly. Now,
That's
because now they're relevant.
I thought I was a techno geek, but we haven't got anywhere near that many.
When we plug them all in, the lights outside in the street go out. So.
Hang on, if you've got 5 iPads,
none of them are ours. We're just because we're scousers. We just keep finding them.
That's gonna be like nearly half of the allocations to Liverpool.
Yeah. It's more than half, 3/4.
Oh, right.
So it's you, the wife, and the 2 kids. Who else has one?
Our invisible pet rabbit.
Has he got a name?
Well, no, it's for the white. It's for Kerry and her split personality. She's got one each.
Hello, Kerry. I don't know if you listen to this podcast or not, but I believe your husband has just called you schizophrenic.
Cray schizo wife. So.
Oh, now we are in so much
Craig's
trouble.
other stone and a half has got one as well.
Yeah.
That's
Can
enough
I ask
apple.
you a question, guys?
Yeah, of course you can. Because
Please.
That's not how it works, is it?
No one's supposed to show interest in us.
We didn't sign up for this.
You know, it's a Disney show.
eventually.
So we've got Star Wars weekends and we've got the Avatar Land coming, and now we've got this new Indiana Jones bar coming to Disney Springs. You know,
Well, hang on.
what do you
we're
think
talking
about the other?
relevant news?
Yeah, what do you think about the franchises that are sort of?
Bloody good idea for a segment, that is.
I'm going to have to play the news jingle if I'm not.
Oh, I'm
careful.
sorry. Did I break your news up?
No,
No, not at all.
I just
You weren't
haven't
gonna
played
have
it.
me.
Never mind. Carry on.
Keep going, Sean.
What do you think to the other franchises, the non-Disney franchises, if you like, that have been bought in and are sort of taking over a little bit?
Well, first of all, on this Indiana Jones bar, because I thought it was a great idea, but if they do not serve anything, and that can be either a drink or a food item in a mug or bowl, doesn't come out in a monkey's head, they have missed a absolute trick. It will make me mad. There's a soapbox for the future.
Yeah.
There's monkey farms springing up all over America, just for the heads, for the demand. Yeah.
Well, we kind of briefly, you wouldn't have heard it because by the time this has been recorded, you wouldn't have heard the last episode. But we kind of mentioned it a little bit in the last one about Star Wars.
Right.
When we was talking about the ownership of Star Wars.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think that the problem is that, and we can go back to Dick Tracy, The Rocketeer, and Tron, if you want to, in the
And
fact
of course,
that...
Marvel now.
Yeah, oh yes, especially. But if you take those 3, for example, especially, all of those were blockbuster films which were supposed to be franchises. Each one of those, like Tron was supposed to be a franchise. Dick Tracy was, and The Rocketeer were definitely supposed to be franchises.
Yeah.
And all of them didn't do very well at the box office, which led them to
Carter,
nowhere.
Yeah.
John
Carter,
yeah.
Classic. I love
And
that
the thing
film.
is, yeah, I mean, I think it's a good film as well.
Biggest
But
grossing film ever in Russia.
Is it?
Yeah.
John Carter had the biggest opening.
Was
I
it the
don't
biggest
think it's got
opening
The biggest
weekend?
gross.
It was some
Biggest
stupid-
opening in Russia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was ridiculously popular there, and still only just about broke even. I just want to point out as well, it didn't actually end up losing that much money. It actually, I think, almost broke even.
Then the accountants weren't trying hard enough.
It's all right. Lone Ranger ruined it for everyone else.
Oh, hell.
But the thing is, Disney have tried numerous times to do franchises, and I don't know what it is. I think quite often it's down to the marketing of the films, but they just don't seem to work. Buying Marvel was an amazing deal. It was a brilliant deal because it instantly gave them the rights to all of these pop cultural phenomenons in terms of characters, especially aimed at boys, which is always a market we'd always struggled against. So, I mean, that was a genius move. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of issues with the Marvel deal because they don't have the rights to all the films. They can't build things at all the theme parks. There's a lot of things they're trying to get around at the moment. So it's very good for things like merchandise and for their networks. But in terms of the whole deal, it could have possibly been better, but it was still a good idea. Star Wars, even greater. Other than the fact that Fox will have lifetime rights to the original Star Wars film, buying Lucasfilm and everything that comes with it was a genius move, and of course that also leads us to Indiana Jones. And the thing is, and Star Wars will prove this later this year when it opens up and smashes Avatar to be the biggest grossing film of all time. I'm calling it now. It will prove just how good a deal it was to buy the rights to Star Wars. I really feel strongly that it was the right thing to do. And when they eventually reboot Indiana Jones with either Chris Pratt or Tom Hardy or whoever they decide to, and it's going to happen. It will happen. I think once they refresh those, they will also be successful because they're proven. And you can argue the fact that Disney have basically bought these franchises and not really done the hard work. And yeah, that's true. But it's not for the one of them trying. They have tried and failed with numerous franchises. And, if you can't beat them, join them. What is key is the fact that, especially not so much with Marvel, but Star Wars, is that Star Wars was a franchise that was on its last legs. People were losing interest in it. The kids that saw it when they were kids and are now full-grown adults with their own children and didn't like the prequels and the cartoons and all that kind of guff. Yeah. And so what Disney have done is they've got all of those fans interested again in watching a new film, which George Lucas had kind of ruined for a lot of those people. So it's very smart that they've been able to take something that never got unpopular, but had certainly lost a lot of its fan base or the interest in the public domain about it, and has kind of brought that back. As I said, once it opens up and does massive numbers and breaks all records, then we'll be able to have a different conversation. But is it cheating? Yes. Is it the right thing to do for Disney? Yes. I think it is. And I've just spoken for about 10 minutes, and I'm sorry, everyone.
That's fine.
So I forgot what the original question was.
I just can't wait to go to Jack Lindsay's hangar.
There was no Vinylmation mentioned, so it was a bonus.
Well, I was trying my best because I know that you have the bit of a Vinylmation thing, and I absolutely hate it. So I was trying to block that off a wee bit.
Cock block.
I would not talk about the Star Wars Vinylmations I bought this week. Then, all right, whatever.
They're still making them.
For certain.
No,
for
you
certain
pretend I
things.
didn't
Star Wars
ask, I
being
don't
an
care.
exception. Oh, you sound like my parents.
So
Right,
with Star Wars, right, boys, at what point are they going to announce this Star Wars expansion? Is it going to be after the film has made $1 billion?
The thing is, the rumour always was that I had Shaun will probably be able to answer this better than I can, that originally it was going to be an expansion on existing properties. Yeah. But I understand now, because of the fact they own this and they're making more films and they're making more cartoons, that they're looking to expand it to do more with the continuing franchise rather than the past.
That's right. With a slight nod to the old people who remember the first ones coming out. But yeah, mostly
the ones who pay for the Orlando holidays for their kids to go on.
That's it.
But Paul, this is the thing. That's not true anymore. Because if you think I'm 31, why do I have to think about that so much? Well, I'm almost 32, but I'm not there yet, right? Now, the thing is, I will soon be in a position where I'll be unable but willing to take my family to Orlando because I just can't bloody afford it. But what I mean is that the age group is now changing. So, I watched Star Wars when they first hit video. You watched Star Wars when they first came out of the cinema. The demographic, year by year, is getting younger as to what it is. I think it's very key that they keep things like Star Tours and they keep things from those original films to keep that franchise alive for everybody. But I also think they need to invest in the future.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry, am I talking sense or something? Is that what everyone's been?
Yeah.
I'm coming up to 50. I remember queuing around the block to see Star Wars on opening day. But there's not going to be... I'm not their prime target now. I'm not the one who's going to be putting most of the money behind the till. It's going to be younger guys than me and their children. You're right.
Well,
that's
you
what
say
they're
that.
at.
You say that, Shaun.
I do. I heard myself.
You're so suited to this show. But
it was with my own mouth.
At my own time, and I was looking in the mirror while I was saying it. I could definitely hear my own voice. This week that we're recording this, so it would have been about the 5th week by the time it goes out, is Star Wars Weekends.
Yes.
And I don't know if people are aware, but quite often, especially when there's a big film out, they do a popcorn bucket to celebrate. So recently there was a Cinderella carriage for a popcorn bucket. So it's shaped like Cinderella's carriage, but you put your popcorn in it.
Right.
And I've done it for all kind of franchises. But
Monkey's Head.
You should have done it like Cinderella's Rat.
This is what we should be having next. But at the moment, because it's Star Wars Weekends, the popcorn bucket is Han Solo in carbonate. And it is fantastic. Obviously, it's like a rectangular popcorn box, but it's all the silver and black, and it's obviously got a 3D Han Solo coming out the front of it. And I've already bought one and having it shipped over.
Well, they're on eBay
because I needed one in my life.
Googling as we speak.
I've got because unfortunately because of those 3 inches of rubberized plastic, I've got some friends in America who frequent the parks quite regularly and are visiting at the moment. So they've got one for me.
Do you know when you...
I find it's actually best to call them vinylmations, because if you're talking about friends with 3 inches of rubberized plastic who go to the parks, it could be anyone who's read a story for us recently.
not 3 inches.
While you were talking then, I was on Google looking at this damn thing. It's like a coffin, because it's not just the flat plate Han Solo that hangs on the wall. Because it's full of popcorn, it's much deeper.
Yep.
It's like a coffin. It's a sarcophagus. Fantastic.
Full of popcorn.
Full of popcorn.
And do not think for a minute that when I go to my IMAX cinema on the 18th of December this year and I ask for my popcorn, I'll say, no, sir.
You serve it in this bucket.
Fill her up, bitch. Because I will. You are filling up Han Solo with that crappy, stale popcorn, and I'll be eating it, grimacing the whole way through the film.
You know Han Solo always looks a bit narky, doesn't he? He's got an edge. Yeah. He's got a face on him, hasn't he?
That is the Harrison Ford look, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is that because he's constantly cutting poo from around Chewbacca's bum?
Oh, yeah.
Because
I'd say he must have some right knots.
Yeah. It's always puzzled me that Chewbacca going to bog. Where's little Chewbacca?
You see, I was wondering what the title of this particular episode would be.
I still think it should be sorry seems to be the hardest word, but that's just me. I'm an egotist.
Put that in brackets.
Parentheses, yeah.
Sweet mother.
The point I brought up with the popcorn bucket is, they're obviously still looking at the past and what people want.
You might have a catheter or a colostomy bag, mightn't you? Anyway, sorry, carry on.
They've got bacon cupcakes. What's going on at Disney World at the moment? Sorry. I just got sent a picture from some friends that are there at the moment. That's very bizarre. Bacon cupcakes. Oh.
Chewbacca's bumhole. Oh.
Chewbacca's bum. Chewbacca's bum. Chewbacca's bum.
I'm going to need some new jingles.
Well, I will. I mean, to be honest, I have
there's a
completely
popcorn
ripped off.
bucket on eBay now for £18.36. Get your bids in.
£18.
1836. Well,
You can buy a real coffin for that in Liverpool.
Or you can and get someone to fill it. Or you can get the Darth Vader and Han Solo double bill. Darth Vader's head looks like a monkey's head with the top off.
Darth Vader's head.
Darth Vader's
31
head.
quid for the pair. Buy it now.
Oh my goodness. Buy.
Well,
Buy
I believe
How
the
much for a Wookiee
retail.
It's about $5.
Oh, someone had to lie at the time, didn't they? Oh.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
I think
That
it was.
started about 10 minutes ago.
I think the popcorn bucket retails about $12.99 plus tax, there or thereabouts in the park. So do your own conversions and whatnot, but don't expect to pay retail unless you've got friends out there. Come on, let's be realistic. Also, on the theme of Star Trek merchandise that may be or may not be socially accurate, has anyone seen the Sarlacc Pit toilet stickers?
Funny enough, I missed that.
Are they in there, John Lewis?
Yeah, because they're
Better be careful. Sean's got a dodgy tummy. You don't want to set him off.
Yeah, he's taken a trip right down the Sarlacc Pit recently. Straight in the gap. It's a real thing.
I wouldn't be that fussed about sitting on it for the teeth. I'd just be worried that Boba Fett will be flying back out of it.
From one hole to another.
Yeah, once you're in there, you're staying in there. Speaking from experience.
You could give all your
very Star Wars
poo.
heroes.
You could name all your nuggets like little Star Wars characters as they drop in. There's C-3PO going in. Oh, splash.
And of course, if you want to tell us how to name your nuggets whilst the kids off of the poll, you can do it via our website at www.disafterdark.com or email us at podcast@disafterdark.com.
Except with Craig's pronunciation, if he called one Luke, everyone would run and have a Luke.
Put it in my book. You Luke.
Houston's us food.
Yes.
No, it doesn't matter.
It's almost like Nick's timekeeping for us.
Lindsay's knocking on the wall next door.
Yes. No, yes.
Well,
Nick's
Twitter
quite right.
as well, at DisAfterDark, and Facebook.com/DisAfterDark, and you can find us on MiceChat.com if you want to tell us all about your Star Wars themed businesses, wherever they are.
He's like a professional, isn't he?
And Sean.
Hello, sir.
If people haven't already bought your book, because I mean, people should be listening to this podcast, pausing it and going, crap, where can I buy this book from? If they haven't done it yet and they want to do it now the show's finishing, can you just remind them, please, where to buy it?
Get yourself to Amazon and look for the happiest workplace on earth. Go to themeparkpress.com. Or you can just look for me on Twitter. I'm Disney Book Sean. That'll do.
Yeah.
Thank you for the plug.
Where do you get the most money from? Like what I mean is, do you
Theme Park Press.
Do you get more from Theme Park Press? Right.
Yeah.
So you can go to Amazon if you've got vouchers, but let's be honest.
Yeah, hell yeah.
If you haven't got vouchers, go to Theme Park Press because Sean gets more money.
because I get a
and the
bigger
books
cut.
come out
Thank you
quicker,
very
and
much. Yeah.
he comes back on the podcast and we talk more about toilets. It
Anytime.
all works out for the best. Yeah.
And I did just want to say, Sean, that of all the guests that we've had on DisAfterDark, you are the one that's needed the plug the most.
Thank you kindly.
But can I just, before we run out the door because the pub is trying to close, I just want to give a few shout outs to people that have recently liked the Facebook page because we do pay attention. My favourite one, of course, is somebody who, this must be their real name because it says so, Womble Babies. Womble Babies. Must be true. Stuart Meek, Andrew McLaughlin, Dora Disney, again, That would just be an ironic surname if you like Disney and weren't related. Lisa Michelle, Stacey Triplett, Fam Bellicano, Shanna Evans, Stephen Sanders, James Keaton, Andrew Jacobs. Thank you very much for liking us. Sorry if I pronounce your names wrong, but to be honest, 7.2% of alcohol does that to you. Just be glad I remembered to mention you. Sorry.
I feel like doing a Jeremy Clarkson and going, and on that bombshell.
Punching the producer in the face. That's yourself.
Yeah, I was just going to go and punch myself in the face because I haven't had myself any food for a little while. Right, I hit this button now.
Growing older is mandatory. Growing up is optional. Dis After Dark, the podcast that's nearly the same as all the others.
Only with slightly more poo-related jokes.
Well, that was a cracking Christmas episode we've just recorded there.
I thought it was our Easter special.
Sod off the lot of you.
And Sean, you know when I said you needed the plug the most, that was in relation to the chili. You got that, yeah?
Oh, yes.
Could have stuck one of Nick's finally. That would have done the same job.
Too many bum jokes.
Don't do it head first, though. You won't get it back out. Don't ask me how I know.
Look, if there's one thing we take away from tonight, always aim for the Scarlet Kid. That's it.
Gordon's alive!